Ron Armstead and Dr. Cathy Bennett-Santos. We are pleased to have them both. Remember, November is Bone Marrow Donor Aware Month. I want to remind you of that, all right? It is November 16th, and we are pleased to have these folks on with us. They're going to give us a lot of great information. Dr. Cathy Bennett Santos, veteran, author, and founder of the National Alliance of Women's Veterans, Inc. Doctor, how are you?
I'm well tonight, sir, and yourself.
Good, good, Doc. Thank you so much. We also have Ron Armstead with us, veteran and executive director of the CBC, the Congressional Black Caucus Veterans Brain Trust. I'm sorry, Congressional Black Caucus Veterans Brain Trust. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm honored to be
Oh, Ron.
invited to participate.
Yeah, well, listen, we are honored to have you. Absolutely. We want to talk about with both of you. I want to make sure I give our listeners our call-in number in case there's something that we don't cover that they want. 312 374 8130. 312-374-8130. That's the America's Heroes Group number where you can reach us. The discussion, obviously, is the Veteran Brain Trust and developing a monthly programming show on America's Heroes Group as a veteran military think tank. We've been on for a little over 3 years now, and we've had people who have suggested that that's the sort of thing we need to do. And we were thinking, well, that's great. So let's go to the people who could really give us some ideas about it and what should be done. Doc, you want to start us off, please?
First, let me congratulate you on your recognition tribute on this evening
Well,
in
thank
Chicago.
you.
I wish I could be there. Unfortunately, I cannot.
I appreciate
And
it. Thank you.
just to honor the most generous and the most devoted veteran in this country, Mr. Ron Armstead, I am so honored to have this platform here tonight to listen to the vision which he set forth over 30 years ago. I'm just honored, and I will yield to him for sharing what information he believes is important for this hour. And yes, and I think I would just like to be in listening mode. This is a very, very honorable opportunity for me. So we will let's move forward in that vein. I would like to also just bring attention to the organ donor awareness month concern. It began back in Philadelphia, I think, with Governor Casey, who in 1994 actually signed a law to adopt organ donor as a major platform. And since that time, they've established a memorial fund where there's a growing issue here, supported by legislation by his son, Bob Casey Sr., Jr. And I just want to just draw that attention to this awareness on this month.
You know, Doctor, that is very important. What you're talking about. How is that? How much is that utilized? Should there be more of that?
Quite
Yeah.
quite often, yes. Yes, the statistics show that there are thousands of Pennsylvanians on the organ donor donations list, and there's a growing number with the heightened awareness on this issue. So I think it's important that we continue to talk about it.
Yes.
With the need for organs, and certainly your show has helped to enlighten the community on this evening.
Well, that's great because we, as you probably know, Doc, have talked about it before, and it is something that it certainly should be utilized to the highest degree that we can make it happen. So I just congratulate you, of course, for doing what you do relative to that. Mr. Armstead, help us. You are the veteran and executive director of the Congressional Black Caucus Veteran Brain Trust. Tell us about that and what you are doing and what we need to hear.
Well, we started over 30 years ago, and we actually do a forum each year as a part of the Congressional Caucus Legislative Conference, which is always held in September, and it's always held in Washington, D.C.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to describe ourselves as, being kind of widely recognized as one of the premier forums for the discussion of policy debate between veterans of African American descent and leaders in government. The forum is also an event which has become one of the traditional highlights of the Congressional Black Caucus Veterans Legislative Conference as a family affair which brings veterans, their families, and advocates together from throughout the country and gives us a unique opportunity to discuss issues of critical concern to all of us.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
Our approach is it's a triangular approach from the bottom up, top down, and periphery in. This three-pronged approach incorporates community-based and grassroots concerns, connects to professional expertise, empirical evidence, and research literature on new scholarship, as well as redresses the absence of a congressionally chartered organization of black veterans as a group at the national level. Thus, it just continues to be invisible and the unheard. Thus, we continue to be considered invisible and the unheard voices before Congress and the administration.
Wow.
Our accomplishments go from talking with General Colin Powell and all the way to more recent awarding of the Congressional Medal of Honor to Sergeant Henderson, a World War I veteran, in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
Throughout the last 30 years, we have continuously given forums that range from the Jim Crow wars, then and now. We are now ending veterans' homelessness, the troubled economy, the coming home transition experience from the military justice or injustice, health disparities, so on. And so we've been really robust in terms of trying to address the policy side of the equation. As so we believe is this past September, we just did incorporating the role of women in Congress. We focused on African American women and has a highly successful event and won the American 20-something awards. Pictures and some began transcribing the videotape, which you can go on and see, with recommendations as it relates to African American women in the military and veterans. All right, so we're and trying to do some follow-up and debriefings on this forum.
You know, one thing we're breaking up a little bit. We're breaking up a little bit. One of the things that Mr. Armstead that I certainly wanted to bring up, because what we do here, of course, in America's Heroes group, we've got a women's group that women has done a great job. America's a hero. She serves. She matters. Is one of our partners. But when you talk about African American women in the military, one of the things that many of us talked about, we were so proud of to see, as I'm sure you folks were really pleased about this, to have 7 African American women graduate from West Point in the same class. Are you there,
yes,
sir?
Yes, I am. But I must also admit that I have a certain ambivalence.
Oh, please tell us, because we may have the wrong idea. That's why we want you. Yeah.
No. Black women are the fastest growing segment of the military. women in the modern day military than there are white women.
Sure.
But then when you look at some of the issues that raises, military sexual trauma, homelessness, fastest growing homeless population, African American women.
Okay. All right. So tell me. I'm
there's
sorry. Go right ahead.
Kind of I just have to maintain my kind of ambivalence.
Yeah, that's what we want to
about
hear.
this.
Yeah.
One level, we have women achieving high level positions. We have black women doing worse than any other segment of the military population. All right? So somehow we have to spend as much time looking at the homeless women as we do the women graduating from West Point.
Oh, I totally agree with that.
There are more of them that are homeless. There are more of them that are homeless than there are graduates. The other thing I wanted to mention was I was pleased to listen to some of your advertisements. That Rochelle Crump out of Chicago was talked about her women veterans group in Chicago being the only one in Illinois. She was one of our panelists at the Caucus this year, right? And the other group, the Sheroes, that was another affiliate of ours. So we are trying to reach out in a lot of different areas as groups. Okay?
Yeah. Rochelle is great. You're absolutely correct, sir. That is great, Ron. And, this is the things that we push. Doctor, help us on this. Should we be?
I am here.
Yeah, the thing Ron is saying that I think that my wonderful feelings about these 7 black women in one class graduating from West Point should not be looked on to the degree that I think is a wonderful thing. Because of the fact that you have so many black women in the service that are homeless and so forth. Yeah, go right ahead. I'm sorry, Doc.
I think that Mr. Armstead has a position to see the multidimensional perspective on the veterans community. 31 years, that's such a wide range of veteran platforms that he's addressed. So I yield to on the veterans and that knowledge. I would say that the fight, which I think is very important for what Mr. Armstead also, is being in the trenches on the research, having the legislative community also to respond to some of these. And I think that's one of the most crucial positions now for the BrainTrust, is having that legislative support through Congressman Bishop and the historical significance of Congressman Rango. It was beyond 30 years for me. It's been about 31 years, Mr. Armstead, that you introduced me to the Congressional platform that I had my testimony before Congress on military sexual trauma. So you were on the cutting edge of women issues when you look at the program from 1992, where you introduced all of these issues that we are dealing with today. And I'm just honored that even today that we have a broader platform that we can extend to for outreach, just for other people to see the dynamic and the help that is offered through this BrainTrust. I commend you, and I'm just honored that right now this partnership or this opportunity to share on this platform will reach far more who may be in need of help.
I think that's great. That's very good.
Well, I'm pleased.
Yeah.
I'm pleased to have you on board. I think that we, as I kind of roll over the list of issues that came out of this forum, I think about military discharges. I think about military sexual trauma. I think about the transition experience and the culture of the VA. I think about the lack of child care for black women in the service, because the vast majority of them are not married. They're single parents with kids. Right? So I think that even though I read somewhere where there was one of the congresswomen said, yeah, this isn't your grandfather's VA, but we still have a long way to go. We still have a long way to go in terms of providing the utmost of services to women who have served.
Absolutely.
And so I want to keep that in front of this conversation. We have a long list and a long way to go.
Yeah.
In terms of making sure that the sisters that are getting out of the service, that have been in the service,
we're with you all the way on that.
And accordingly.
Sure, yeah, we're with you all the way on that. We are pleased to have, that's Ron Armstead and Dr. Cathy Bennett-Santos, and we'll take a caller on line 1. Tommy, thank you for calling. Tommy, are you there?
Can you?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure. Go right ahead, Tommy.
Hello,
Thanks for
Cliff.
calling.
Oh, well, first of all, let me say hello to you, Cliff, and let me say hello to your guest. But, Cliff, here's the summation of the way I feel. The way I feel is that when Veterans Day came about this year, and I saw the awe, Cliff, there is nothing more awestruck than when you see a couple of F-15 fighters go by over your head, or you see the troop transport or the troops in this formation or the armament that this country has, Cliff. And so, Cliff, it takes me to say that the frustration and anger that I absolutely have is when you go through the file footage and the historical value of what individuals have done in terms of us being able to fight on football fields, cuss on basketball fields, and then civil service individuals, ambassadors and stuff, liars. I cannot understand how that the people who individuals, ambassadors and stuff, the way that they are.
Okay.
I am sick and tired of this.
Tommy's fading out on us.
Hello?
And we got, oh my goodness, we got all kinds of problems here. Okay, thank you, Tommy. I appreciate it. Listen, we didn't get all of it. We're about out of time. We need a closing statement.
So, Mr. Ron, what is it that you feel like?
I will say
Yes,
that
sir.
Veterans Brain Trust is new membership, new participation. And I reached at 617-3583. Once again, that's 617-331-3583. And we look forward to working with your program and others that are in the work of dealing with bringing veterans, black veterans, to the table and giving them a voice in the program and with the new administration. Thank you.
All right.
Mr. Armstead, I'm just delighted that this platform has been one that has been resourceful, certainly impactful for me. I'm so honored that we now join with such a brilliant individual concerned, a Vietnam veteran, Mr. Cliff Kelly. Thank you so much for your service. I didn't speak to you before Veterans Day, but thank you for your service. And have a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving, and I hope that we will have an opportunity to expound more on some of these issues and to get some help and resources for some of the issues that we face as African-American women. So,
I'm sure we will. And Doctor, thank you so much for your comments. And, of course, Mr. Armstead, keep up the great work. You folks have just given us some great information. Is there anything else? All right. Well, I guess that's what we will do.
No, that's it.
Okay. Very good, sir. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. And
All right.
you folks
Bye-bye.
have a great weekend. All right.